the title of the paper submitted is Potentials of 5D BIM with Blockchain-Enabled Smart Contracts for Expediting Cash Flow in Construction Projects. The authors of the paper are Jong Yoon and Pardis Pishdad-Bozorgi. So I guess Mr. Jong or Ms. Jong Yoon is presenting.
No, I'm presenting. Pardis is presenting.
Pardis is presenting. Then thank you very much for presenting Dr. Pardis Pishdad-Bozorgi. So please, you have 15 minutes, and then we will have 5 minutes for questions and answers.
Well, thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Dr. Pardis Pishdad-Bozorgi. I'm an associate professor and a graduate program director at Georgia Tech School of Building Construction. The first author is my PhD student, Jong Yoon. He couldn't be here, so I'm presenting on his behalf as well. So the title of the presentation is, in this presentation, we are looking into the potential of 5D building information modeling in conjunction with blockchain technology and smart contract. And we want to see how together all these emerging technologies could solve the problem of late or non-payment issues in the construction industry. So in this presentation, I'm going to first frame the problem statement and its significance, and then move on by discussing the research methodology, research results, conclusion, and future research. So a survey that was filled by Construction Payment Report found out that 30% of subcontractors received their payments more than 30 days after they submit their invoices. And this 30% results into $44 billion amount of money that the owners of the projects could have saved otherwise if they made the payments to the subcontractors within that 30 days period. So the sooner the subcontractors get paid, the more discount the owner can receive and the less interest on the project. Let's look at the impact of late and non-payment issues on construction projects. 3.7% of construction cost can be saved if projects are paid on time, subcontractors. In a survey that was done by Construction Payment Report, it shows that over the past 12 months, 28% of subcontractors did not receive their payments within 30 days, and 30% of the subcontractors filed lien because of the non-payment or delayed payment. So it's a huge problem, and it persists. And now let's look at the literature to see what other researchers have studied and what they have proposed in terms of addressing these payments, delays, and non-payment issues. So since 2011, various studies have highlighted this problem. And most of these studies have focused on regulatory or legislative solutions to solve the problem of delayed payment. Oops, what did I do? Yeah, sorry. And some of these studies highlighted the need for also improving the workflow processes in addition to just, coming up with solutions that are focused on regulation. So one solution that stands out and stood out to me and my PhD students when we started our investigation on blockchain technology was that when we were looking at this technology, we were thinking of, okay, so what are the applications that we can find for blockchain technology? And so some of you may not be familiar with blockchain. So blockchain is a distributed ledger technology that functions using hash functions. So it's for data transaction or payment transaction, and it basically eliminates the need for third party. So let's say if you want to do some transaction with someone, so usually there is a bank involved, but if the third party bank is for, it's the trusted party. So what if we can have a distributed ledger technology that functions on a network that really diminishes the need for having a third party, trusted party? So different parties who may not necessarily even have trust on each other, they still can get into a transaction without a need of third party. So that's basically what blockchain technology enables. Any information that gets transferred or transacted within a blockchain network technology, it's immutable, it's transparent, and it's traceable. It means that once that information is within the blockchain network, no one can change it, no one can delete it. So this gives an assurance to the party that they can trust where the source of that they can trust that the information wasn't changed, wasn't deleted, wasn't manipulated. So it's a good record. It's a good technology for recording transaction. So while now we also have a smart contract. So smart contract has been around for many decades. Actually, it's not new. And what we looked into in this research was, okay, so what if we can use smart contract to expedite the cash flow payment? And the fact that now we have blockchain technology, this enables the users of smart contract to have a trust that the information that feeds to the smart contract was not really what was truthful information. So again, let me rewind. What is a smart contract? Smart contract is based on a series of algorithms that is based on if-then condition that says if the condition of this contract is satisfied, then, for example, release this payment, right? So, it is used for automating the contract and digitizing the contract, and we figured that now in conjunction with blockchain, now we can say, okay, so if the data is recorded in the blockchain, and if the smart contract is being operated in a blockchain platform, then there is this trust that people would say, okay, smart contract could not be changed because the smart contract is already operating on a blockchain network. So that was when we had this insight that, okay, let's investigate into how we can merge and how we can integrate blockchain technology, smart contract with BIM to really expedite, digitize, automate, and expedite the payment process. So then we looked into the literature again, and we dig further to see what else has been proposed. We found that there are a few studies that suggest that smart contract can be used again to digitize contracts and expedite cash flow processes. But they didn't, these few studies, they didn't investigate the integration with BIM, and they suggested that it would be great to see how the integration of the two works. We also found a few other studies that almost started investigating this issue almost at the same time as we did. And we look into these studies to see what differentiates our work from them. And these are the gaps that we found in the literature that distinguishes our work from the existing studies. So we found that in order to automate and expedite cash flow process, first of all, it's very important that all the stakeholders, including the architect, general contractors, subcontractors, owners, they have access to the initial plan and documentation, and then progress data, and then invoices, because the process of submitting invoices and then reviewing them and issuing certificate of payment, and then releasing the payments, it involves all of these stakeholders. So it's very important that they all have access to a shared platform. And then the legal payments documents should be developed based on the BIM data, right? So it shouldn't be a separate document that is developed by, let's say, the subcontractors. It should be based on the BIM data, and then should be reviewed by the responsible stakeholders. And third, the automatic payment should be based on, again, construction progress data from BIM technology, and it should be linked with the BIM, right? So one of the key benefit of BIM is it's the very initial benefit of BIM that really makes BIM great was its visualization aspect, right? So similarly here, we want to integrate that visualization aspect into the invoices submitted by subcontractors, because the owner, it brings additional visibility to the owners and to general contractor or the architects that are reviewing these pay invoices. Because imagine if you see a line of text and codes for invoices that the sub says, I work on this scope of work, but you really don't know exactly what it is referring to and how it's compared with the initial cost estimate. So what if we merge all these things? So when the owner receives the pay invoices, they can click and they can see exactly in the model where these invoices is related to. So it brings that visualization aspect to it. So accordingly, we decided to develop a system architecture for integrating 5D BIM with blockchain and smart contract. So this, we reached out to a 5D BIM company who has a 5D BIM cloud-based technology. And they sponsored our project to develop the first system architecture. And that's what I'm presenting right now. So M2 is the platform. M2 is one of the advanced 5D BIM technology. What is 5D BIM? Again, it's 3D BIM plus construction cost estimate and plus schedule. So 5D BIM. And so in here, you can see that, I don't know if we have a laser, yeah. So architect developed the data for design, and then the GC received them. GC add additional construction cost data to the model. And then in the 5D BIM platform like M2, the GC can develop the cost estimate model. And the cost estimate model is actually, it's not just a quantity takeoff, it's a quantity takeoff merged with the cost estimate that is inside the platform. So we are not like talking about different platforms. It's all in one platform where you can see in the same platform the 3D design with the quantity takeoff with the cost estimate. So the cost model and then the schedule as well. And then based on these modules, you can see the bill of quantity cost estimate, and then also planned versus current state. So as the construction progresses, again, M2 allows to bring in the in-progress data in terms of schedule and in terms of cost. So you can see side by side what's the as planned versus what's the actual construction cost, and what's as planned versus actual construction schedule. So that's the current capability of M2. Now, we looked into how the payment and invoicing works, and it's very much manual. Even though they use the 5D BIM for pre-construction phase, they try to use it for also post-construction, not post-construction, during construction, to compare the as planned with the actual. But for payment purposes, it's the subcontractors who develop their progress payment invoices. It's paperwork, it's manual, and then they submit it to the GC. GC reviews it, this application, and submit it to the architect. And architect again reviews this progress payment application, and they develop the certificate of payment if they approve it, and then they send it to the owner, right? And then the owner would release the payment to the GC. And then once the GC receives the payment, and the GC release the payment to the subs. So as you can see, the process is very linear, and it's manual. So, okay, right. So we propose this system architecture that would accomplish the missions that we had, which is basically to digitize the process and to automate the process and to make it more streamlined and less linear and less time consuming. And then also to create this platform where everyone has access to this, and where the payment applications are linked with the BIM model and it's visually presentable. So that was our goal. So this is basically the system architecture in the cloud-based BIM, 5D BIM, the module for quantity takeoff and cost estimate, as well as the schedule and progress report is created. And this is basically in real time, right? So as the project progresses, they input the information in terms of the work installed, the schedule and all those things. They put them in the 5D BIM. Then the payment documents is going to be automatically extracted from this, as opposed to the subcontractor separately develop their own payment documents. So that's one automation that we did here. And then after that, this developed payment documents is going to inform to be given to the GC or in the platform, and all these stakeholders have access to them to review and sign simultaneously, right? So, and again, it's in the digital signature service that we are using. So it's like DocuSign, right? You review and then you approve that, yes, that scope of work was done. Then this signed digital document is going to be uploaded in a web-based DApp, which is based on a blockchain platform, right? So that's where this information cannot be changed, and it's going to be safe there, right? So that's actually the security that comes with blockchain, right? So once this is uploaded, everyone can trust that that yes, these stakeholders in this state, they signed these documents, it got approved. And the smart contract is also operated on this blockchain environment, right? So the condition of the smart contract, again, is also on blockchain, which means that it cannot be changed. And the smart contract is going to be operated based on the two conditions. Are all the payment documents are signed, which is this phase? Yes. So, and then completion of a preferred stage of work, yes. And this is based on the 5D BIM progress report that is created in this stage. And once both conditions are achieved, then the payment is going to be released automatically. So that's how we really thought of how we can integrate all these different emerging technologies to digitize, streamline, and automate the process and create this shared platform for these stakeholders to review and approve the payments. Oops.
Dr. Pishdad-Bozorgi,
yes.
we have limited time.
What is that?
We have limited time.
Yes, I'm done. I'm done. So limitation and future studies. In this stage, we developed the system architecture. In our next stage, we are planning to develop the pilot case study and test how the system works. Some of the limitation that we are thinking that we may be facing is the cost of blockchain and smart contract, and how worthy it is in view of the owner to pay for that, or how we can minimize that cost. So in conclusion, the construction industry is suffering from delayed payment and non-payment, and using emerging technologies like 5D BIM, blockchain, and smart contract, we can digitize, automate, and streamline the process and make our work much more efficient. Thank you, and I'm open to any comments or questions.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Pardis Pishdad-Bozorgi, for your very nice presentation. I really enjoyed the presentation. I think it could be a really, really necessary tool. So we could, let's say, use it in the future. And I wish you have a really nice development of your tool. Any questions in the audience?
There's one question here, yes.
I'll have a comment for Kepa and one for you. Refer you, Deborah. So I'm on a project that are doing very similar things. And so I'm all for investigating this. But is there a risk that in the end, contractors just don't want to pay, will move their attitude from not paying the contracts to delay the approval of works? Because you still have the humans that appear there that has to approve the work. And this is where they can't deal with the contracts anymore. So this is where they will do it, right? They'll just delay that part because they can't delay the rest. And then it removes one part where they can act, because they could already act on the delay on that part. They could also act on the contract payment. With the technology, they couldn't do the contract payments, but they can still act on that part. Do you foresee a risk there?
Absolutely. I mean, human risk is always there, even though we want to use technology to eliminate many of the risks, but human risk, you cannot really force them. But I still think that if there could be a solution to that, right? So we are establishing a smart contract, right? And there are also, as we saw in the previous studies, they investigated, or they highlighted the importance of regulations and the contract language. So again, for those things, maybe we can say, as soon as this payment document is developed, every party has no more than 3 days or 7 days or 10 days, right? You name it, to actually review and sign the document. So those aspects of the human behavior.
But we could have had regulations that says you have to pay within 3 days.
Okay, yeah, no.
There's still delay in delay.
There's still delay, and the reason for that is because of all these linear process that they go through, right? So in this process, there is no linearity. Everyone can see the shared platform at the same time and do those review and approval. And then the other aspect of it is the visibility, that the visualization aspect of it that comes to play, right? So the speed of me reviewing these paperworks that are manual, right? And to make sense of what this line item is related to, versus I'm looking at this BIM model and it shows me exactly this is related to this scope of work. You know, I see it in 3D visualization, and I can easily say, yes, that took place. Yes, that took place. So I think there is a combination of things. The linear process that was before, and now it's more integrated, real-time access of all parties at the same time, the visualization aspect of it. And then also the smart contract, that once you do that, the payment is triggered automatically, right? So it doesn't need for the owner to actually write the check, right?
Yeah, no, but I'm just saying they will shift, right? If they don't have the power to delay the writing the check, they might try to use their power elsewhere where they can delay things further. That's all what I meant. But that's okay. I don't want to delay further. Kepa, I think it's 15 minutes, including questions, because I think we're quite behind now as a result.
Okay.
Yes. Then we probably need to move forward to the next presentation. Sorry for this. Thank you very much, Dr. Thank you very much, Dr. Pardis, Pishdad-Bozorgi. We will move to the next paper.